Okay, good evening and welcome to day one of the interview bootcamp. I am not sure if you joined the resume bootcamp, but if you didn't, I would advise you go to our YouTube channel at your pace, go through all we covered, because while your resume is key, your job search process, mastering interviews is key as well. So they both go together. And if you do not have a very good resume, I would advise you go through our YouTube channel. Get the knowledge we shared. Again, welcome to day one of the interview bootcamp. We'll be covering a lot. Talk about various forms of interviews and how to handle them, common mistakes, major interview questions and how to answer them. Then, of course, we would have mock interviews and try to practice. So you are in for a good ride. Now, we are using the Zoho platform for this session. And you need to, I just want to walk us through the platform. So we have a chat box. There, you can send in chats as the session is going on. You can send in your chats to me or fellow participants, that's fine. And as the session is going on as well, if you have a question, please use the Q&A section. Do not use the chat box because I won't be reading the chat box for questions. So use the Q&A section to ask your questions. I hope that's understood and that's carried. Okay, so just like you can see from my screen, this bootcamp is for a period of 2 weeks. And this is our week 1. This week we'll learn a lot from foundations and preparations and a whole lot. We'll talk about different kinds of interviews. We'll talk about how to handle interview questions, some common interview questions and how to answer them. We'll talk about the STAR method. I believe all of these were sent to your email earlier, so you understand what we are going to be doing. Now, I know you have the model and what we need to cover today. However, if we have time, I will do more than today's what we are supposed to cover today. So we may do what we are supposed to cover today as well as what we are supposed to cover on Friday, if we have the time. And so we cover much more and probably have some more time for the mock interviews. Okay, foundations and preparations. Understanding the interview process. Different types of interviews. Some of us may have attended one or more of these types of interviews. We have behavioral interviews. We have technical interviews. We have case study interviews. We have group interviews, as well as stress interviews. Behavioral interviews majorly focus on past behaviors to predict future performance. So it's believed that if you were able to do something before, if such a situation occurs in the future, you'll be able to handle it just the same way you handled it before, or even better, because of course you may have learned from your experience from the past. Questions from behavioral interview would typically start with, tell me about a time when, tell me about a time when you had to deal with a difficult coworker and how you were able to cope. Just in case you've attended an interview and heard such a question, that's behavioral interview. Hi, Lovett, welcome. Please draw my attention if you need, if you can't hear me at some point, please draw my attention. I was just talking about behavioral interviews. Then the next is technical interviews. Basically, technical interviews focuses on, assessing your technical skills and knowledge. So if you are going for an interview and you are an IT expert, for example, technical interviews are going to be based on technicalities. How do you troubleshoot if such a situation occurs? You are not being asked how blah 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 was, how you did it, how you were able to handle a difficult employee or whatever, but how do you troubleshoot? For example, we were interviewing a candidate who is an accountant, financial reporting accountant. My colleagues and I were interviewing her last week, and the reason we want to hire this person is because she has expertise with using Sage 300, which is the software my company uses. And majority of the questions that were asked were technical questions. Okay, so when you enter Sage, how do you do this and this? Then the candidates who says they are an expert in that field, they tell you, you need to upload this, you need to do this, you need to do that. That is what shows that this person is an expert. So that's what technical interviews are about, majorly asking you questions on how to get the job done. So if you've ever attended an interview and such questions are asked, just know that that is called technical interview. It's the questions are hands-on, practical, not they could be theoretical, but they want to see how you can do it, how to get the job done. My example here says, for example, what is the purpose of a job analysis? This is to somebody who is in HR, for example. You should know the purpose of a job analysis and how to, conduct a job analysis. If I'm interviewing somebody in HSC, I'll be asking them maybe job hazard analysis. How do you prepare a job hazard analysis, right? So that's what technical interviews are about. Then we also have case study interviews. Not very common, but some organizations use it. I have faced case study interviews recently, as a matter of fact. So case study interviews focuses on evaluating problem solving, analytical, and critical thinking skills. So they want to see your problem solving skills, your analytical skills, and of course your critical thinking skills. That's what the focus of a case study interview is about. The questions for a case study interview involves, hypothetical business scenarios or problems. For example, how would you approach a marketing campaign for a new product? If you say you are a content marketer, for example, how will you market? How will you do this? How? The other day I attended an interview and it was a case study. That part was a case study interview. And then I was asked, as a recruiter, a client service recruiter, how am I going to attend to? They listed about 10 issues and how I'm going to prioritize and why I'm going to prioritize that way, right? So that's a case study interview. Next set of interviews we are going to talk about is group interviews. Some of us may have attended group interviews. They may not be very common, but if you're attending, for example, a walk-in interview where you have crowd, the organizers may want to use group interviews because they may not be able to attend to everyone at the same time. Then also where it's a job fair, for example, the organizers may want to use group interviews as well. And you need to also understand how to, navigate your way when it comes to group interviews. For group interviews, group interview focuses on, assessing teamwork. So you are with a group, you are interviewing with more than one person, not just yourself. So they want to see that you are a team player, and it should show from the interview. Your communication skills and your leadership skills as well. The questions may involve group discussions or tasks. For example, I did group interviews some time back when I was organizing a job fair, and I practically would say, throw a question and tell person A to give me their thoughts, rephrase or start a new question from whatever this person A has stated, and ask person B their thoughts. So I'm looking at understanding of the role, quite all right, communication skills, as well as, the ability of this person to work as a team. That's what group interviews are. Then stress interviews, they may not be very, very common, but they're actually a form of interview. This kind of interview focuses on evaluating a candidate's ability to handle pressure and remain composed, right? Questions on this kind of interview may be challenging. Of course, that's why it's called stress interviews. It may be confrontational or time restricted. Examples of such would be, how do you think you are the best candidate for the position? So it's a bit, this kind of question may take you aback if you are not very prepared. How do you think you are the best candidate for this position? How do you think you are the best candidate? So in such an interview, you want to put your best foot forward. You want to think of the job description and see how it aligns with your skills, your abilities, and experiences. That way you can answer the question appropriately. Now, these are a few common interview questions. Almost every interview, you should face one or more of these, and I thought it wise to share. Remember, you can drop your questions in the Q&A section. When I'm done, I will take them. So you don't forget, you can drop them. just as the session is going on, just so you do not forget, because you may forget. So as the question is going on, if you think there's any path that you need clarity with, please drop your questions in the Q&A section. Okay, so let's go on. Common interview questions. Number one would be, tell me about yourself. That's like the favorite question when it comes to interviews. Tell me about yourself. Or can we meet you? They are the same thing. Tell me about yourself. So for this question, you want to keep it relevant, you want to focus on your professional experience, your skills, and how they align with the job. You want to highlight, key achievements, mention specific accomplishments that demonstrates your abilities. Then, of course, you want to be concise. I see sometimes you ask a candidate a question and they ramble and waste time. To be sincere, no interviewer loves you just speaking off point. You want to be concise, straight to the point, and hit the nail on the head. I would say aim for a 2-minute summary. Don't ramble. Now, there's this formula I give for this question. Tell me about yourself. So you want to start with your past, your present, and your future. This is how it is. Tell me about yourself. You tell the interviewer about your past, the role, where you're coming from. Or if you are interviewing for an executive assistant role, for example, you want to work as an executive assistant and what you achieved there, right? The skills you used there. Then you want to talk about your present. Your present is now, focusing on the job description and how it aligns with your experiences from your past and why it makes you fit for the role. Then, of course, you want to talk about your future, how you are going. Your future now is you talking about how you are going to bring in your wealth of experience for that role. So your past, your present, and your future. That's how to, hit the nail for this tell me about yourself question. I would share, I think I did a detailed write-up on LinkedIn. I will check and share in the group after now. Please remind me just in case I forget. And if you are not on the WhatsApp group, do well to join. The next question we are going to be looking at is, why are you interested in this position? This question, talks about your interests, your skills, and what you bring to the table. So why you are interested in the position or in the company, it could be in the company, it's relatively the same question. You want to understand the fact that it is not about what you get to gain. So I see a lot of people may just be hitting the nail on money. No, it is what you get to give to the company. Now, you need to understand the fact that no company hires you because they just like your face. They hire you because they have a problem and they believe you can solve the problem. And you need to tell them that you are the best person to solve the problem with this question. Now, to answer this question clearly, you need to first research the company. By that, you are showing your knowledge of the company's mission, the values, recent developments, and particularly for that role, the kind of skills they need. The other day, a mentee of mine was going for an interview, and before he went for the interview, he reached out to me to tell me, okay, so this is the company's is the company's invite, but I just try to check them on LinkedIn. I can't see them on LinkedIn. They don't even have a functional website. And I was like, okay, so this is how you are going to face that interview tomorrow. And you are an IT person into web development and all of that. So sell your skill to them, so they know that they know you made a research about them. They do not have a company website. They are not on LinkedIn, and all of that would help you with the interview. It shows that you are coming in to solve their problem, and it did work for him. Then, of course, you want to connect your skills to the position, explain how your qualifications and experience aligns with the job requirements. Then you want to express, enthusiasm. No company wants to hire somebody who is not excited about working for them. So you want to express enthusiasm, convey your genuine interest in the position, and of course the company. The next question is, what are your strengths and weaknesses? This is a very tricky question, and it's still one of those popular questions you may hear or you may be asked in an interview. You want to choose strengths that are relevant to the role you're applying for. If you are applied for a customer service executive role, for example, you want to choose strengths like the fact that you are a good listener, because that's a strength that is relevant to that role. So choose strengths that are relevant, highlight skills that are directly related to the job you've applied for or you are interviewing for. Then, of course, you should be honest about weaknesses. Like I said, this is a very tricky question. You see candidates who want to say they don't have any weakness, but that's not true. You need to acknowledge your weak areas, and the fact that you have probably improved on them, and that shows you've learned. Your weaknesses are just a learning curve for you. Then, of course, you want to highlight how you've turned certain weaknesses into strengths. Explain how you've overcome challenges and learned from your experiences. For example, initially, I would say my weakness is the fact that I do not know how to delegate duties. But as simple as that sounds, that is not a very good weakness if you are interviewing for a leadership role, a manager level role, or a leadership role where you have to supervise others. Because if you cannot delegate, then you are not a good leader, because you can't do all the work yourself. So I would say I wasn't so good with delegating, but I've learned to, because I like to do, I like things to be done in perfection. So I prefer to just do my thing myself and get it done just the way I want it to be done. But as a leader, I'm beginning to learn, and now I can delegate. But while I delegate, I take the opportunity to supervise and lend a helping hand to my direct reports. That way, they can get the job done to perfection as I want it to be done, and they get to learn. So it is a weakness, but I have turned it to a strength. So you show, learning, the fact that, of course, you've grown. Then another question that is most likely common is describe a time when you face a challenge and how you overcame it. Here, you should use the STAR method. If you've not heard about the STAR method, STAR method stands for situation, task, action, and result. We'll talk about it as we make progress. So first, you want to be specific when answering this question. You want to be specific. You want to provide concrete examples of the actions you took and the outcomes your actions resulted into. Then, of course, you want to highlight your problem-solving skills. Demonstrate your ability to think critically and find solutions. Again, remember that no company hires you because they love your face. They hired you to solve their problems. So you must think of how to solve their problems, even if that has to be done on the spot while you have an interview. Then, of course, you want to focus on the positives, right? Emphasize on how you learned from the experiences you had and how you've grown as a professional. Now, remember we said we are going to talk about the STAR method. We already talked about what STAR stands for: situation, task, action, and result. Situation, describe the situation. I don't know another word that is simpler than situation. So situation is describe the situation. For task, explain the task or responsibility. For action, detail the steps you took. Then results, highlight the outcome of your actions. Again, like I said, if you have a question, please drop them in the Q&A section, and I would look into it when I'm done. So this is an example using the STAR method now. Situation, for situation. This is for somebody in customer service. I was working as a customer service representative for a major online retailer. A customer had contacted our support team, extremely upset about a delayed shipment of their order. The customer was threatening to cancel their accounts and leave a negative review. So this was the situation you found yourself as a customer service representative. A customer who is unhappy with a delay in their order, and now this is the situation you find yourself. Let's see how you handle it. So for task, my task was to resolve the customer's issue, calm them down, and prevent them from canceling their account or leaving a negative review. That's the task. Task is what's the responsibility, what you are tasked to do to solve that situation. Now, to ensure your task is well done, you have to take action. So these are the action this person took. First, they empathize with the customer. Remember, an important skill of a customer service rep is listening, active listening for that matter. So this person listened carefully to their concerns and expressed their understanding of the customer's frustration. So at least this will calm the customer down. I reassured them that I would do everything possible to resolve the issue. The customer is then calm. Then, of course, if the customer is calm, that's not all. I need to, as well, investigate the issue, the order. So they investigated the order, this person. I checked the order status to determine the cause of the delay. I found that the shipment had been delayed due to a carrier issue. So now they see where the delay problem is coming from. Third, what did they do? They provided an update. No, I informed the customer of the situation and apologized for the inconvenience. I gave them an estimated delivery date and offered them a discount on their next purchase as a token of apology. This is what they did. Then number 4, they did some form of follow-up. I contacted the customer again a few days later to ensure that they had received their order and were satisfied with the resolution. So these are the action they took. Then what was now the result? Remember, this customer is angry when they called. That was the situation this customer service rep faced. What was the result? Through my actions, remember the 4 actions this person took. Through my actions, I was able to successfully resolve the customer's issue and prevented them from canceling their account or leaving a negative review. The customer expressed their satisfaction with the outcome and thanked me for my assistance. This positive interaction helped to maintain the customer's loyalty and contributed to the overall satisfaction of our customer base. Now, you would agree with me, right? You would agree with me that this customer service rep was able to achieve success with the actions she took. That is how to use the STAR method to answer your interview questions. That way, you are showcasing your achievements and you're not just blabbing. So let's talk about building rapport. I tell people, or I tell my mentees, that they need to understand the fact that an interview is not a war zone. I see people want to attend interviews and they are scared. They are worried. Sometimes they may not be able to eat. I don't know. Do we have anybody like that here? You could just, it's fine. We've all been there. You could send a reaction to show that you've been there before. I have been there before. But it's something, yeah, I can see that, love it. It's something you will have to master. It takes time. So you need to understand the fact that an interview is not, a war zone. It's a time for conversation. That's how I see it, and that's how you should see it as well. It's a conversation. You are having a conversation with the company. They need your skills. You need a job. So I do not think, I for one, I do not think, I believe both parties, both the job applicant and the company, are on the same level playing ground. I do not think the company is in a higher position. I do not think so. Because if I'm hiring for that role, I need a skill. That's why I'm hiring for that role. And this person has a skill to deliver for me. So we are on the same level. Right? And a job interview is a conversation between 2 parties, the job applicants as well as the company. So you want to build rapport all through the interview session. You want to build rapport. Of course, to do that, you want to smile and maintain good eye contact. One thing I tell people is that a smile helps take away your tension. You can try it. Maybe if you have a mock interview, just try it. and or even if you have an interview coming on anytime soon, try to smile. It takes away tension. So if you feel tense, smile. It will take away the tension because it makes the atmosphere a bit lighter. So please use a smile as much as possible. And of course, eye contact, it shows when you look, you are looking straight into the eyes of somebody, it shows you are bold. And nobody wants to hire somebody who is should I say timid? Yeah. You want to show that you are bold and keep that smile on. About 2 weeks ago, right, we interviewed a candidate, and one thing caught everybody's attention on the panel: her smile. She smiled from the beginning of the interview. It was supposed to be an hour interview, but it lasted for about 2 hours, and those questions were very technical questions. And before she answers any questions, she's first smiling. Even if she's not getting it very right, her smile caught everybody's attention on the panel. And of course, we recommended her for the role. Then, of course, you want to use open body language. How you sit matters. There was a time I had this candidate scheduled the interview between the candidate and the hiring manager for the role. It was a virtual interview, and this guy forgot that his camera was on or that he was in an interview. His camera was on. Oh. Then he sat like on the bed and he just laid down and he was just answering questions. And the hiring manager was so angry to the point that she had to screenshot her laptop and send me. I'm like, hello, what kind of candidate did you bring for me? I was so disappointed. So you want to avoid all of that. If you are attending an interview, even if it's a virtual interview, I would expect that you dress formally. Yes, dress formally. It's even if it's a virtual interview, because you are going to be turning on your camera. Even if they did not tell you are going to be turning on your camera, you should turn on your camera, except you are told not to. Right? So you want to use your body language very well. Posture, how you sit, how you talk. You're nodding your head. That shows you're following and you're with the interviewer. Then, of course, you want to ask thoughtful questions. Most times when you have interviews, the only question candidates ask is salary question. And sometimes I wonder why people are not very wise. All the question you ask in an interview is about salary. I interviewed somebody the other. I was so tired of this person. You ask about salary, I would explain. You twist the question again back to the same salary matter, and you've not asked any question about the job. Nothing at all. I'm like, whoa. So you want to avoid that. Ask thoughtful question. Now you'll be thinking, what if I do not have a question? I'll tell my mentees, do not go to an interview without a question. Now, if there is a job description, the job description should tell you, if you go through the job description properly, you would have questions you can ask from the job description. Some things may not be so clear, some gray areas. From there, you have your question. And when you ask such kind of questions that are pertaining to the role, it shows that you are passionate about the job and it's the kind of job you want to have. So it will make the interviewer believe you are interested in the job and may want to hire you. Then, of course, show genuine interest, and that can be done show genuine interest in the interview, and that can be done through questions. So this is supposed to be, this part is supposed to be for Friday, but I will go ahead and take it because it's not much, so that we'll go delve into other things on Friday, and we'll have enough time for, practicing. We'll do a lot of practice for this bootcamp. So if you are going for an interview, of course, you want to start by researching companies and, various industries. If you are going for HR manager interview in oil and gas, the company you are going for the interview is in the oil and gas industry, the kind of things you are going to research on might or will be different from if you are going for an interview, the same role, HR manager, but let's say in the education or hospitality industry, right? So you want to research the company, you want to research the industry as well, so that if an industry related question is thrown at you, you are not confused. Then, of course, recent news and developments about the company. And funny enough, some interviews, they may ask you who do you think their competitors are, and depending on the kind of role anyway, you may want to know all of that. Then before you go for an interview, I would expect that your resume is well tailored and your cover letter. Some interviewers may ask you questions. I do that. Some interviewers may ask you questions from your resume and cover letter if you submitted a cover letter. And of course, you must have submitted a resume before you get called for an interview. So you want to ensure that you master your resume, because of course, people can write a resume for you, and it's just you pay them, they write a resume for you. You do not have any understanding of what has been written. You go for an interview, a question is asked in relation to your resume, and you are confused. You don't want that. So you want to, highlight relevant skills in your resume and skills and experiences you are able to defend. Just in case you missed the resume bootcamp, please go to our YouTube channel to watch. That way you would have a better understanding of what we are talking about. Then, of course, use keywords from the job description on your resume and all of that. So when you're asked questions in the interview, you have a good understanding. Create a strong personal brand. You want to define your personal brand, especially from your LinkedIn. You want to ensure that the links to your LinkedIn account is on your resume. Develop a professional online presence, and of course, network with industry professionals. Again, if you miss the interview bootcamp, please, the resume bootcamp, sorry, please go through, and that would help bring you up to speed. That is if you need the information anyway. So I think we'll stop here for now and take questions. We'll continue from common interview mistakes and how to avoid them on Friday. Again, this class is going to be a very practical one. So get ready to get your hands dirty. I don't know if anyone has a question. If anybody has a question, please raise your hand so we can allow you to speak, or send your question in the Q&A so we take them shortly. Okay, so I can't see any question, and I take it that we understood all we've been saying for the last few minutes. Again, thank you for joining today's session. We covered 2 days work. Basically, what we covered started from resume basics, interview basics and foundation. We talked about the different types of interviews. We talked about behavioral, technical, case study, stress interviews. We talked about common interview questions. Most of those questions you've heard over and over again, and how to structure your answers. We equally talked about the STAR method, which stands for situation, task, action, and results, and how to use it. Then we, of course, talked about building rapport with your interviewer. We equally covered day 2's work, which is about research and preparation, researching the companies, tailoring your resumes, and highlighting your skills to the job description, so that when you are asked questions from your resume, you do not get confused. We equally advised you, if you miss the resume bootcamp, go to the YouTube channel and watch, because you need the information there, except you have a very good resume and your resume game is very good. Then we talked about creating a strong personal brand as well. Some interviewers may want to ask you questions when they go through your LinkedIn page. So you want to do that. Ensure that you have a strong personal brand on LinkedIn. Then, of course, build your online presence, professional presence, of course, using LinkedIn. So this is where we stopped. We are stopping today. By Friday, we would cover common interview mistakes and how to handle them. There, we are going to be talking about, body language and non-verbal communication, handling difficult questions, following up after the interview, negotiating salaries, which is a big one, the money talk. Very, very important. I see people go for interviews, they may have nailed their questions, but they do not know how to handle the salary negotiation part, and that's important. So we'll cover that on Friday. On Friday is going to be our next class. So we'll cover that on Friday by 7. Please, let's keep to time. And just as you know, we may cover two modules in one day on Friday if we have the time, just like we did today. We covered 2 modules today. On Friday, we may cover 2 modules. I'm believing we got value for those of us who has been here. I think the network has been bad. I see a lot of persons coming and trying to reconnect, go out and come in. I think the network is not so good in a lot of places. That's why we have this recorded, so that just in case the network knocks you off at some point, you should be able to have a recap by going to the YouTube channel to rewatch. Thank you, and have a good night. I believe nobody has a question. We'll continue from where we stopped today by Friday. See you on Friday by 7 p.m. Bye.